In this week's episode of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations, I'm exploring letting yourself go versus letting go. Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, and I support women to bloom in midlife with creativity and spiritual life coaching. This week is about letting yourself go or letting go. So what's the difference? When I was younger, I always used to hear women around me say about their counterparts, especially if they hadn't seen them for some time, is, oh my gosh, she's let herself go. And at the time, I really didn't understand what that meant until much later, when I saw that what they were connecting letting yourself go with was almost like a total abandonment of self. Usually when they were talking about somebody letting themselves go, there would have been a marked change in that person's physical appearance. They would have aged considerably, their hair would have got white, they would have probably put on quite a few pounds, and the difference between who they were as a younger woman and how they were representing themselves as an older woman was very different. And of course, physical changes are pretty much impossible to ignore. If someone has gained weight or aged, you can't help but notice that. The thing that we weren't asking, the question that we weren't asking, is what happened to that woman? Why had she let herself go? And especially if you were comparing that woman to who she was in her younger days, when she may have been all about her physical appearance, to then see her in such a different state is then going to be a real shock. But, we're very judgmental and we go by what we see instantly. So let's look at that. If we talk about the letting yourself go, why do we let ourselves go? What does that mean? Letting yourself go is a form of self-abandonment. There's a part of you that has just stepped away from the everyday care and attention that you would give yourself. And there can be many reasons for that, because when you say things like that, people always fall into judgment and shaming, and you're putting someone down. But we can't help but notice what we're noticing. And sometimes we do need to observe and really find out what is happening there as well. Why has she let herself go? Or if we're looking at ourselves, why have I let myself go? What has happened? Where did I drop the reins on what I used to do and the way that I used to care and tend for myself? Do I believe that I can bring myself back to a state where I recognize myself? And oftentimes as well, when we do recognize women who have let themselves go, they have kind of disassociated from the part of themselves that has that ability to bring themselves back, to bring themselves back onto the reins and back on the horse of their life. So it requires sympathy and empathy and gentle guidance. Either you're helping someone through that, or you're having that conversation with yourself. So letting yourself go is abandonment of self. And in contrast, I believe letting go is actually being in control, but surrendering the control as well, which might sound like a major paradox. So I'm going to explain a little bit further. In order to get to the state of letting go, that requires deep trust. Deep trust in that where you are allowing things to fall away from you, that you are in an open and receiving state to receive what's going to come. You're not holding on to things that don't serve you anymore. You're letting them go and being in the openness and the trust and the faith that something better is there for you. And that is a form of self-love. Self-love is for you to go, these are no longer things that are for me, and I trust that I'm going to be taken care of, and I love myself enough to go into that space and that period of maybe nothingness where it looks like nothing is happening, but know that everything is all right and know that I deserve for those things to come through. That's where the self-love comes in versus the self-abandonment, where you've just thrown everything to the wind and let yourself go. So if you feel that you're on the side of having let yourself go, how do you make that transition to the place where you can feel that you can let go? First, meet yourself in the middle and recognize that, okay, there has been a time where I let myself go. I abandoned myself for whatever reason. I may have gone through something traumatic. I may have just given up. It just was too much to do all the things all the time. And it was just easier to push it out there to the wind, which is completely different from surrender. So by looking at and recognizing where we let ourselves go and why we let ourselves go is to come to a place of forgiveness, to recognize that we got to a place where it was just too heavy, or the pain was too deep, or all of the things, keeping everything going at the same time was just unattainable for us to keep doing. And allow forgiveness for yourself for maybe letting yourself go for too long. Sometimes we just need to lie down, put our head under the covers and take some rest and not deal with the thing, but we don't want to be there for too long. So when you've got back to that space of forgiveness and seeing, okay, I let myself go for too long. Now, how can I start to gather the parts of myself? And it's loving the decision that you made, knowing that part of you realized that you were in a state of overwhelm, a state of exhaustion, and you didn't know what to do or where to turn to, and to give yourself permission to ask for help. If anything, knowing that asking for help is the strongest and the most powerful thing that you can do. And reaching out to friends and people that you really trust, or reaching out to a coach or a community that you know that can hear and hold and support you. Then when you feel strong enough, then when you feel that you have an awareness and you're being held, then you can start to look at the things that don't belong in your life anymore and release them, let go of them, let go of the need to control them, let go of the need to know what's going to happen. That's the letting go, that's the sweet surrender, that's the powerful part, that's the part of you showing love to yourself, the difference between letting yourself go and letting go. And if ever during those times, in that transition time of that forgiveness and moving into finding your strength, you find yourself wavering, don't be too hard on yourself. Recognize why you did what you did. We don't get a handbook for life. We figure it out as we go. And if we can't find out all that we know for ourselves, we reach out and we find others who can help and support us in that journey. And there are many of us out here who want to help each other. As midlife women, we're stepping into a new paradigm, a new era of our life. And also we're in a pivotal moment in time where we're changing the paradigm about what it means to be a midlife woman, the opportunity that represents for us, and the not letting ourselves go, but letting go of the things that don't serve. In the same way, we're letting go of that old idea that this is the end for us, because it isn't. And to underline that, I want to leave with a quote from Lao Tzu. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Thank you again for joining me on another episode of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. And if you haven't already, do check the link in the show notes somewhere and download the midlife meditation. Play this as and when you feel the need to get some support and just bring yourself back into the awareness of where you are in your life. Here I am at this beautiful moment of my life. And if any of this is resonating with you, like, share, subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube, and also leave a comment or contact me and tell me what parts of the midlife journey you would like me to discuss and share with you from my perspective on Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. Until the next episode, thank you so much for joining me.